News review preview show. We're going to talk about the 0-0 draw with PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League. First of all, I'm happy to be joined by Nathan. Nathan, how are you?
Doing good, Dale. Thanks for having me on. Happy Thanksgiving to anybody who does celebrate it. So that's what we're doing here.
Happy Thanksgiving. I'm joined by a new guest, a new member of Strictly News TV. Salman, how are you? Hello, Salman.
Hey Dale, doing great, pal. How are you guys?
Good stuff, not too bad. Nice to have you on. And of
Sure,
course,
pal.
you all know Stephen. Stephen, how are you?
Yeah, I'm alright, mate.
You don't seem like someone in the best of form. Is last night's performance draw played in the back of your mind a small bit?
Yeah, it's been a tough day, mate. It's been a tough day. I think we'll get everyone else's thoughts on it, mate. But I'm with the majority. I thought last night was absolutely shocking, mate. Absolutely shocking. Yeah, I think we'll get into it in more detail in a minute, I think.
Hello? Hello? Hello, Dale? Hello, folks?
I think we might have
Hello?
lost Dale. I think we might have lost Dale. It's been.
I think we did last time, yeah.
Well, I know we were talking about last night. So, Steve, why don't you just start, man? I think Dale jumped back on, but we're still live. So.
Right, is he the one with the problems? Is he? Right, sound. Yeah. I mean, where do you start with that last night? Poor result. I think poor performance leaves us in a position where I don't think many hold any any sort of prospect of going out there and beating Wolfsburg. I saw them at Old Trafford, and I thought they were a really good side. And I think a lot agree with we didn't want to go down to the last game. Let's be honest, I think PSV will give CSK and Moscow a bit of an hiding, and so they'll do their bit, and we've got to do ours. And I just think it's a situation which United shouldn't have been in. It shouldn't have been handled yesterday. And yeah, again, it's another 0-0. I think what 4 out of 7 now, and it's just the same old story. And it's if sides sit back, the setup just it isn't working. And even bringing on Plan B, he didn't even wait to 60 minutes yesterday. He waited till 55, and it got worse when the wig come on Fellaini. You know what I mean? And our answer's going back to last season of bringing Young and Fellaini on to try and get you win games. And I said last year, you're not going to win anything with Young and Fellaini coming on and starting for Man United. But we're just going back to our answer after spending huge amounts of money. We've had Van Gaal's philosophy for 18 months. It should be taking a bit more progress and kicking on. And I thought yesterday was bordering on just ridiculous. I think I fell asleep in the first half. Was that bad?
Just on that, I've joined in a bit later. My connection went, Stephen. What have I missed? I caught the end of that.
Yeah, go on, mate.
No, I caught the end of your answer. Was that just your answer to my initial question? Because my connection dropped.
Well, it went silent for about 5 minutes, and then we thought, yeah, we'll talk about last night and just dive into it. Fire away, mate. far away.
No, I suppose, yeah, look, I actually disagreed with a lot of people. My timeline in particular from the first half. I thought the first half was, I enjoyed the first half, the performance, to be quite honest. The second half, yeah, that bored me to tears. As you briefly mentioned there, it didn't even wait for 60 minutes to bring on Mara and Fellaini, and I thought our approach in the first half, and some opportunities did break. Now you had Lingard that was given a shimmy from Martial, and his touch was just unlucky, you know. He had a good opportunity at the end of the game, but I thought we kept our approach up in the first half and creating chances. Eventually, one of them at the back of the net. We didn't do that. We started hoofing balls, and for centre halves, that's just perfect. You know, they're happy getting rid of that all night long. Nathan, what did you make of the performance?
I'm with you. I the first half I thought I actually was excited when I saw the lineup. I think most people would have been seeing with the youth in there, and it looked like we were kind of going attacking with the injuries we had. But first half I was impressed. I was surprised. I guess I shouldn't say I was surprised. I thought we would get a goal, and then when we didn't, I started thinking, well, you know, he's going to push, we'll make a change, and then the second half just dropped out of the bottom. There was no basement. I mean, it just kept going and getting worse, and then by the end, it's hard to remember what Van Gaal is doing and what what the goals are. But I think yesterday's performance just kind of sums up the fact of that he's still not done. And yeah, a lot of money's been spent. But for me, Moyes put us in a hole that I just feel like was going to take a long time to get out of. And Van Gaal's shored up the defense. He's shored up midfield. And he's going for attacking. Why it's taking so long to get to the finish line, that's the part that's kind of frustrating me. And I think it was on display against PSV, who, for me, they're not a great side. So that was frustrating to do that at Old Trafford on a Champions League night and see us go out 0-0.
I want to get on to that shortly. First, I want to go to Salman. There's not many things you can take from the game against PSV, Salman. It was 0-0. Was boring. Is this a trend you've seen creeping into this United team? Because as you've seen at games, people sing attack, attack, attack. They want the manager to come out and stop being so conservative. Is this something that you can see just being Van Gaal's philosophy? Are we finally getting to the definition of that word, or is this something that you see is just eventually he'll start playing better football? Press the mute button, Salman. You're still on the mute button.
Right.
Don't worry,
Okay.
we've all done that.
Yeah.
We've all done that.
Yeah, mate, I'm back on. Yeah. To be honest, mate, I think if I have to be honest, I just don't see this improving, and I see Van Gaal being the same rigid way, because at the end of the day, I don't think so. He'll change. I think he's stubborn. I think he's rigid. And last night was a disgrace, mate. Let's be honest, mate. It was an absolute disgrace. I haven't seen such a pathetic European performance at Old Trafford during my 15 years of following Manchester United. We couldn't. There was no penetration. There was no fluidity. There was no desire, mate. There was no urgency. And that second half, mate, we needed a goal to qualify, and he brings on Marin Fellaini and plays him as the midfielder. I just went clueless last night, mate. And I don't see any improvement there, mate. I don't see any improvement. I think this is going to continue. I just feel that this trend will continue, and I think at some point in time, the board and the fans they have to decide that where this is going to go. Because I have been backing Van Gaal, and I still want him to succeed at Manchester United, because this is the United way. We do back our managers. We always are behind them. We supported David Moyes after some of his pathetic performances when we were losing. I still remember that game at Old Trafford when we were losing 3-0 to Liverpool, and the Stretford end was chanting 20 times Man United for the last 20 consecutive minutes, mate. So we do support our managers. It's the United way. But LVG, I don't see any improvements.
You basically answered the next question. So I'm going to go on to the two boys. Nathan, just a quick fire before we get into this discussion. Is the football, Nathan, boring, or is it a process? Is it something that you can see over time that be worked on? I think you kind of nearly answered this already, because I agree what you just mentioned, that Van Gaal came into this side defensively. We were woeful under David Moyes. We'd missed key personalities through retirement, through moving elsewhere. He came in, fixed that. For years and years and years, the midfield was ignored by Ferguson. Key players had left, key players had retired, and it just wasn't addressed. Players were brought in, but not players that say anywhere near the same calibre. And we were ran over midfield at numerous times throughout years and years and years, but he's fixed that. The last piece of the jigsaw, he's kept David De Gea too. The last piece of the jigsaw is up front. So is the football boring and never going to improve under Van Gaal, or do you see it as a process?
My answer actually would be both. It is boring, and I'd see the clear improvement from when Moyes left. But it seems, and even last year, even playing in our finer points, we had that run, 6 matches last season, beat Liverpool, beat City. I mean, it was a nice run, beat Tottenham to start that. And you saw what it was, and I think even earlier this season, we had 2 or 3-0 victories in a row, and the goals were kind of coming. So you kind of see it, but at the same time, you kind of wonder. So I'm a yes to both questions. It's boring, but I also see the improvements. The only problem is, like you said, it's the attack now that is not improving. Everything else has been improved.
Stephen?
Yeah, I think it's boring, and I think going on a point, I know a lot seem to make over the defensive, and I mean, you can't argue with, some of the stats and defensively, but I think we're a defensive setup. Honestly, I do, and this isn't going to change with when signs come to Old Trafford, and then it's going to be it's another 0-0. They park the bus. They're doing it for a reason, because they're letting us have the ball. They're not afraid. Sides are coming to Old Trafford now and just saying, I tell you what, they're mugging us right off. It was doing it last season. They're doing the same again. But I can't see how that's a process. How long is that going to go on for? 3-4 years? I don't think it's right. I honestly think we're set up way too defensive. He's brought all these players in that know this philosophy. And a lot of the boys took the flat last season, and they got sold. Even in the United attacking yesterday, Schneidlin and Schweinsteiger are in the centre circle, and then they've sort of split, and then Smalling's come in like he's Franz fucking Beckenbauer, and he's the playmaker. How is this an attacking side? I'm not being funny, but when everyone goes to the ground, or even the Glazers, Van Gaal himself, the players, there's a statue outside of the Holy Trinity. George Best, Law, Charlton. They're not defenders, holding up clean sheet plaques. United attack. Honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous. And fans who are going, oh yeah, but we haven't conceded in so many minutes. I couldn't give a monkeys. I'd rather concede 1 goal and score 2 and 3. I do not think we're an attacking side. We can't be, because teams are just letting us have the ball and then mugging us off, picking us off. And this is bang average sides who are doing it as well. This was Middlesbrough a couple of weeks ago. We're a championship side. I'm not being funny. If we can't put Middlesbrough to bed, we're not going to do it against PSV and Wolfsburg.
Sam,
it's not going to happen. It isn't.
Stephen, Sam Rafferty has commented, and I think you're going to agree with him. He said, guys, we have the players to not be a boring side. Players are there to attack and do damage.
I agree.
I think if you look at even one that's been pushed out on the right and has done a reasonably good job, he's contributed to the vast majority of our goals, either assists or by scoring, that Juan Mata. I would much rather see him given a consistent role. Basically Roman in the number 10 spot. But saying that, it does appear that Wayne Rooney is guaranteed a place in the side, and I've been one for ages now that has criticised Wayne Rooney, especially this season. I have to put my hand up and say I thought against PSV, he looked weirdly probably the most talented player. He was played in his best role.
Don't say that, because we are in trouble.
Yeah, well, maybe. The England game there, he played against France. He looked a different player again. He was surrounded by young midfielders, quick midfielders, and they were doing the work that he's been trying to do and made his job that bit easier. And I think last night, with even though Martial and Lingard or even Memphis weren't playing particularly well, their urgency and their energy in the first half helped Wayne. And Wayne's drive that he had before was starting to come more clear again. If that was to continue, I would beat my word to Wayne Rooney. I'm not saying that all of a sudden he's what he used to be. He's clearly not. But I will say I put my hands up, and I thought last night was probably his best performance this season, although that's not saying much. Salman, your thoughts on Wayne Rooney? Have we lost Salman?
Yeah, mate, can you listen to me?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I personally believe, Dale, that Wayne Rooney recently, he's got his fair share of abuse, and rightly so, because he has been below par. But on Wayne Rooney's point, I just want to say one thing, that people need to start blaming Van Gaal equally as Wayne Rooney, for the prime reason that he is the one who is selecting him regardless of his below average performances. And at the end of the day, the buck stops with the manager, because the manager has the authority to drop a player who doesn't perform good. So it's beyond me that why is Wayne Rooney being picked again and again, even though that he has been absolutely below par. And it's ridiculous, really, that players like Andrew Herrera, Juan Mata, they are being sacrificed for him. We played in the game on the weekend where we won. Basti scored the last-minute winner. There was no Rooney and no Martial. Depe played as a striker, and he played absolutely really good, mate. And then in the midweek, we see again Depe goes to the left-hand side, and Wayne Rooney is accommodated, and Juan Mata is put to the bench. So it's out of my mind that why is he really doing that. On Wayne Rooney, I think Wayne's best years are behind him. He has been a fantastic servant for Manchester, but I just believe that his best years are behind him, and I'm one of those fans who actually think that we should sell Wayne Rooney next summer and move on.
Yeah, well, look, I think as well it's going to be hard to shift Wayne Rooney given the wages he's on. I'm not too sure that I'd be all out and saying sell him. I don't think he should be guaranteed. I don't think anyone should be guaranteed a starting spot in any team. I don't care who you are. No one should play on a merit. I think if you're playing well, then you deserve a start. But if you're going through a bad piece of form, sometimes it's the right idea to take someone out of the team, give them a bit of a rest, and maybe refresh them. I also think, going on to this, and this is a proper question for you, Stephen, there's a lot of talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Even Van Gaal addressed the question last week. It all seems a bit of a romance, but when you consider his age, a decline is around the corner, the amount of money he would cost, wages, everything. Even with Ronaldo in the team, could we become entertaining again?
No.
Under Van Gaal, no, definitely.
No, I'll tell you why now, because the lad who was unjust has got a brilliant point, right? Last season, on all of these shows, it was Van Persie's fucking dog shit. Fuck him off. Well, Falcao was a bit shite, I'll give you that. So he got fucked off. Januzaj, I'm not a huge lover of. He was crap. Rooney was crap. Right, so you go to the same this season. Memphis has been quite disappointing. Crap on some occasions. Wayne Rooney, again, way below par. You've got fans digging out Lingard, Martial. People have been saying Schweinsteiger has been a bit of a disappointment. Now here's the thing, right? 18 months in, some of these guys we're mentioning here, these are world class. Oh, I'll throw Di Maria in there as well. Some of these are world class players, mate. World class. You don't lose it overnight. So last season it was, oh, these players don't want to do this. We'll get rid of them. And then this season they're crap as well. So what we're going to do at the end of the season, mate? Is it going to be a revolving door outside Carrington again? Fuck them off. We'll buy some more new players for 200 million quid. Listen, I think the question's thrown at Van Gaal now after 18 months, and we're not halfway through a season. We've played some serious games this season already. The questions are there for Van Gaal because it comes down to a system. It's got to be. You can't have all these players, the names I'm mentioning, playing crap every week. It can't just be the players. Van Gaal has got to take some criticism in how United is set up. And last season performances we accepted, Dale, because we were 7th the season before. We'd given anything to get in 4th last season, and we did. We probably could have finished 2nd, but we bottled that. Now this season, you want to see a bit of improvement. I don't want to see United just be happy to get 4th and sign massive deals with Adidas and stupid printer companies. I don't want that, mate. Honestly, I don't. Because it's more Arsenal than Arsenal, that is. And I'm telling you, Van Gaal has got to get some criticism with the fact that there's so many underperforming players and there's so many players that are out of position. Are you going to have 6 or 7 of his squad out of position and you're going to turn sides over? It ain't going to happen.
What's the answer? What's the answer to that?
Is Ronaldo coming back?
No, it's to Van Gaal.
What about his setup?
Well, about he's not going to change the way he.
No, he ain't going to change. Listen,
so we know that as well as that.
His job to the end of the season. It's madness to sack a manager mid-season. Absolute madness, and I wouldn't want that anyway. Van Gaal can see the season out for me, but I do not want to be watching that dreadful football next season.
So if he does win the league, playing that football, which Mourinho's done before,
and exactly, I'd be an hypocrite, mate, because the one thing I said when Ferguson went, and even after replacing Moyes, you've got to play football at this club. I'm not one of them fans who just toss off over results. You go to stadiums to be entertained, mate. Football is a beautiful game. It deserves to be played like that. You know what I mean? I'm not happy beating Watford 2-1 and scraping 1-0s against fucking West Brom, mate, and winning a league title like that. Yeah, it looks great in the trophy cabinet, mate. But you need the whole package at United. That's the pressure. Pressure comes from all around the world. And it should be laid at the pressure of every manager who wants to take the Man United job. They said at Chelsea accepted because they had no history, Dale.
Yeah, of course. But the one thing I think anyone in football will tell you, football is a results business. I know when you go to a stadium, you want to be entertained. I totally accept that. But the reality of it is, if Van Gaal is successful this year, the club won't look at the way you as a fan is looking at it. They will just say, well, look, he's won a league title, and we're going to keep him on, and hopefully keep doing it.
I agree with the results business, mate, but chances are, if you're playing well, Dale, you win games. I don't see many teams playing well I'm not saying you get to a Barcelona or a Bayern Munich style of football. You get close to that, mate, you win games. That's a fact.
Tell you what, for example,
you aren't drawing 0-0 with PSV playing like that.
The year Liverpool almost won the league before Gerrard slipped. That standard of football, I'll tell you, because they had one of the worst defences in the league, and they were conceding countless goals, but they were just running up the other side of the pitch and just banging in goals. So is that type of football you want to see? Basically kind of saying that we don't care too much, we're not going to be ultra conservative. You score 2, we score 3 or 4 kind of thing. Is that what you want to see?
I accept you've got to have a balance. People are just going to say to me, well, you expect them to win 4, 5, 6-0. Listen, this isn't the 90s. We haven't got Barnsley in the league no more. It isn't going to happen. I accept that. But there has got to be a right balance. I don't think it's too much, Dale, to ask to sit and watch United at home on a Tuesday, Wednesday night in the Champions League and not fall asleep, mate. I don't think that's too much ask. Or even go to stadium and get off my seat. Match day going fans will tell you, and I don't care. The morons who won't tell you, the ones who they've got to protect their Twitter accounts or the blogs or shows like this, they're not getting off the seat, mate, because the football is not getting you off your seat. I'm telling you. And it's been happening for too long. I watched the shit football under Moyes. The football was shit last year, I understood. We have got some good players in the team, Dale. Schweinsteiger, Schneidlin, Memphis, Matty. You're telling me they can't create chances and put them away?
Schneidlin is one player that's been held back. Quite clearly been held back. Just so it's not just a Dale and Stephen show. Nathan, tell us, back to Ronaldo. Would you take him back in a heartbeat, or would you consider financially how much it would cost and his decline? Well, it's not declined just yet, but it is around the corner.
I think if you'd asked me last season, I definitely would have taken him. I mean, he's obviously older, but he's got a ton of goals left in him, and even maybe still now he does. But I think you see, just kind of like you've seen with Rooney, he'll score, and Rooney's not even hitting it like that anymore, but Ronaldo scored 3 or 4 in a game, and then he'll disappear, for El Clasico, and they'll lose to Madrid, and then he'll pop up against whoever they played last night, and Shakhtar, whoever it was, and he'll score, 3 or 4 or something like that. So to have him back last season, I would have said yes. This season, I'm saying absolutely not. I think he needs to, either PSG's calling him or he needs to come out here to America. I'll go watch him in the MLS, and that would be great. He'd score 8 goals a game here in the MLS, and it would be amazing to watch. But I just think bringing him back shows it just smacks of desperation for me. At this point, with how we're playing, and who knows if Van Gaal will be given his 3rd year or not. Maybe we don't win the league, we don't get a trophy, and now maybe we're moving on. Maybe a Pep Guardiola or somebody is available this summer that won't be available the next summer, so we've got to pull the trigger. It's hard to tell. If Lingard puts one of those chances away last night, we're sitting top of the group, we've already moved on to knockouts, and this whole thing is different. Yeah, the football is questionable, and that's kind of where we're all going to land on, but it's so crazy how the results can matter. And I think if Ronaldo comes in next season, it would be great. It would be nostalgic. It's Ronaldo. But in the end, I think PSG or America, and that we look to the youth, and we stick with what we have, trying to move forward and try and find that last piece. If it was goalkeeper, defender, midfield, and now attack, then let's do that. But I'm hoping Van Gaal has got a better plan than what he has, because sometimes to me he just looks clueless sitting over there, and then when he throws on Fellaini, I'm like, okay, so he was really not paying attention.
But even on that, I think the only way you can get Ronaldo to the MLS is if Messi joins, because judging on his film, lad is absolutely obsessed with Lionel Messi. Absolutely obsessed. And as well as that, I think he might send you a hate letter to say, just 8 goals a game. Just 8 goals a game in the MLS. So no offense to any MLS fans. Salman, would you take Cristiano Ronaldo back to Old Trafford?
I think I will take him back, mate, because he was a Manchester United legend, and I think he'll still be a huge success at Manchester United, because I personally feel that he has 2 to 3 years of brilliance still in him. I know with his age, his pace is going to go off if he comes to Manchester United next year, but I think he'll still be very useful if we play him as a striker, mate. But having said that, I still don't believe that he'll thrive under Van Gaal's system, mate. Because flair players like Memphis Depay, Di Maria, Cristiano Ronaldo, who like to take on players, who like to beat players for pace and tenacity, mate. I don't think so. Well, they can thrive under Van Gaal. So having said that I love Ronaldo back at Old Trafford, but I just don't think so that he'll thrive under Van Gaal's system, because Van Gaal sets up team defensively, mate. Manchester United these days don't go out to win games, mate. We go out to avoid conceding goals, and that's the harsh bit of the reality. I see, mate.
Okay, so hopefully Ronaldo's not watching.
Can I go in on Ronaldo?
Go on, Stephen.
Right, first off, Ronaldo. I mean, if you were Ronaldo, would you come back and play for that side? I mean, leave the Manchester United and the whole. I was there, but this is a completely different animal now. Cristiano Ronaldo is at a point where he's got one big move left in him. Obviously, some of the boys have mentioned PSG. You think he's going to win a couple of more league titles. He could even get a Champions League. If he was watching that yesterday, he'd have gone, "You've got absolutely fucking no chance." Now, would I have him back at United every day of the week? Well, I think it'd have to be under another coach. And going back on, I mean, that's a big call by Nate. I'll tell him now. This decline as well, Twitter and stuff like that. The only thing that Ronaldo's declining from is a genuine footballing superstar to a world-class player. Right? Rooney and Cristiano Ronaldo, right, are around about similar age. And I'll sum up Cristiano Ronaldo for you now. There's more definition in that boy's gooch than there is on Wayne Rooney's body. And I'm telling you now, Ronaldo comes back, he gets 3 2, 3, 4 years out of him. And he even Scholes, he says it all the time. The guy is goals, pure goals. We need ruthless in this side. One thing I've always labelled Wayne Rooney as, he's a great team player, and that's how I'll remember him. But a ruthless player, no, absolute no chance. And that's what Ronaldo is. But I don't think some of our fans would be happy seeing that ruthlessness, Dale. They'd be moaning that he's moaning because he hasn't got a ball across to him. The guy's a fucking winner. That's what we want to do, win, don't we? So where's the problem? If he comes back, if he's about, fucking go and get him. I don't know who fans want Dale. Do they want Sadio Mane instead? And then expect beat Barcelona and Bayern Munich with that? It ain't happening, mate. It is not happening. I'm telling you.
I can guarantee you someone out there does want him instead of Ronaldo.
Yeah. Well, that's the world we live in at the minute, but there's nothing.
There's definitely someone tweeting, "Shut up, Steve. We got Mane, not Ronaldo." Oh, moving on to the preview. They might want Vardy instead of Ronaldo. Nathan, this weekend will Vardy be having a party?
Obviously, we hope not. I don't want to see him break Van Nistelrooy's record, but listen, the guy's on fire and he's finding a way. And the big thing with Leicester, I think that is different between us, is they not only create the chances, but they put the balls in the box for somebody like a Vardy to go on and just get them and hit them past the keeper. And so we get lost on teams. One thing with Van Gaal is on the bigger matches, we do seem to come away with something. Now, I can't predict anything beautiful. It's not going to be 4-1 United, or it could be vice versa. But in the end, I think Vardy might step up and score and take the record, and he deserves it. He's been playing amazing. And Leicester, they're top of the league in kind of what we would call, obviously, a poor season. So full props to them. I hope Vardy doesn't do it, obviously. And I think Van Nistelrooy, I think I saw him on his Twitter account say he was going to come to the match. So it'll be a big match on Saturday. I'm hoping he doesn't, and I'm hoping we see more of an Everton display, Everton away, than we do a PSV at home display.
Just on Ruben Nistelrooy, obviously, I'm possibly the youngest here in the hangout. As far as I'm concerned, the strikers I've seen at Manchester United, and I've seen some fucking good ones, you know what I mean? But he was definitely the best for me. Just totally clinical, just had everything you want in the centre forward. Used to make me laugh when people say, "Oh, he can't score from outside the box." Who gives a fuck? If he can or if he can't, who cares? As long as the ball is the back of the net and you put one or two in, that's all that matters. Best striker you've seen, Stephen, at United?
Yeah, pure number 9, mate. Rude. But mine's Eric, I think. Cantona. Unreal.
You can leave it at that. Salman, the best Manchester United striker you've ever seen in your 15 years supporting the club?
It has to be Ruud van Nistelrooy, mate. It has to be Ruud by a mile. When I started following the club, Ruud was the person we looked at, and he was the person who gave United the goals. He was our talisman, and it has to be Ruud van Nistelrooy by a mile for me.
What about you, Nathan?
Yeah, Ruud's the one. I still remember where I was when he got the ball at midfield against Fulham and went on that run and put it past the keeper. I mean, I could still close my eyes and see where I was. Watching him with the ball was amazing. A couple of those Champions League nights where he scored from possible angle on the left. I mean, nobody did it like he did, as far as, you're coming away from Cantona and you're coming into kind of, the 2000s, and football was changing a lot. And then United just kept dominating, and Salman's right. Ruud van Nistelrooy gave us the goals, and it was beautiful to watch. I
actually cast my mind back to when Martin Keown jumped up after the penalty. I find it hard to look back at a time that I felt so much hate. What a cunt. If you're watching Martin Keown.
Keown's a fucking cunt, mate.
Absolutely. Keown, look, possibly one of those players that Arsenal fans would tell us that they absolutely loved, and probably one of the ones that if he's one of yours you love. and if he's not one of yours you hate, you can't say he was a bad defender. You know, you can't. That's just ridiculous. But the amount of hate he filled me with, I don't think I could imagine feeling that again. But yeah, getting back to preview, we'll do this quickly. We've all kind of somewhat agreed that United aren't playing free-flowing football and sticking the sword into teams by hammering them. Scoreline predictions, Nathan. I'm going to be very, very surprised if I hear someone say a 4-0 or on that wavelength.
Listen, my heart says 4-1 United, but I think my head's leaning more towards maybe 1-1 at the end of the day, with Leicester still being top, obviously. So I guess they could lose, but 1-1 is probably what I'm thinking.
Salmon, scoreline prediction for Leicester at the weekend?
I think I'll go with a 1-1 as well. I think we are going to draw at Leicester. It's going to be a tough game, obviously, because they are in a fine form. But I think we are solid defensively. I think it's going to be 1-1, yeah.
Just one thing. This kind of view of people being realistic or whatever, this is not something you ever get on a Liverpool fan channel. So neutrals watching this, appreciate it, yeah? Stephen, scoreline prediction?
0-0, mate.
3 draws out of 3.
You sound surprised, mate. What was it? Did I say 4 out of 7?
5, yeah.
I don't know what. Something's made me just come on and say, you know what? We'll win 5-3. We'll return that battering we got there last year. I hope we do, mate. Because Sunday will be ace, but ball draw, mate.
One house soaked the belief out of the club, mate. It's just like that now, mate.
Yeah, I don't know if I really agree. I think everyone's going to be talking with Jamie Vardy. I think this will be the game he won't score. I think Chris Moore will have him in his pocket. Hopefully, I eat my words on that. Yeah, I'm going to say 2-0. I think we will beat Leicester. And Leicester have some tough games coming up after us as well, and they're going to slide. They won't be in the top 4 by Christmas. That's a big shift.
I like it.
I'm going to say they're going to be a similar side to Southampton of last season and slide. I think West Ham did it as well. There's always 1 or 2 teams like that. And as well as that, they haven't necessarily rotated their side, and their players are going to be very, very stretched. Injuries are going to come, fatigueness, and it's only a matter of time before they start slipping. And hopefully this weekend it starts. And it starts with Vardy going home with his tail between his legs and no party and no beers and across home. We're going to wrap it up there. I'm going to say thanks to all the lads for coming on. Nathan, help people find you on Twitter.
Yeah, they can find me at my name, at Nathaniel Hyatt, and you'll see it as Reds of the World, but I'm at Nathaniel Hyatt.
Good stuff. And Salman, how can they find you?
Yeah, they can find me at Salman MUFC1 on Twitter, and yeah, that's it.
We'll be tweeting out links anyway shortly after this and giving people mentions on Twitter. Stephen, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to ask one question from all 3 of you.
Okay.
I just want to ask you guys, do you guys think that we'll beat Wolfsburg away and qualify for the next round?
Yes, I'm going to say yes. Stephen?
I'm going to say no, we've blown it, mate.
Oh, Nathan?
I'm definitely going to. I think Van Gaal will figure out a way, and somehow we'll get it done.
Yes. Stephen, how can I find you on Twitter?
Same place, mate, at SGCW7.
Good stuff. Lads, thanks all for coming on. Enjoyable show, and we'll be back again next week. Hopefully, we'll be talking about ruining that run with Vardy and sitting on top of that big Premier League table. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.